Sharing some slides with you with information. Also, the staff here present will be answering any questions you have along the way in the chat. We are recording this session, so it will be available to review if you want at the end via our website. So yeah, and then Diana, did you put our question for them in the
Yeah.
chat? Right.
Yes.
We just put a little question in there to see if you want to share some of your excitement about your student joining us at UCSC. Yes. You know, we have a lot of visitors to the beach here that sometimes need to bring their sweaters along when they're escaping the heat because the fog is real here in June and July. We have just hit our hot summer weather. Last week, we've been having weather in the high 70s and 80s. And so be prepared for that when you come in September. Sometimes those are some of our hottest days. So we get late summers here. Oh,
With
see.
my brother. There's a lot of interest, finding new friends, something new, spreading their wings. Programs and location. They love the location. That's something that's really beautiful at Santa Cruz.
Mhm.
Do we see Shelly?
Okay. Someone was here for Summer Edge. That's awesome. So they already have um, some information. Shraddha, any info from Shelley? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Do you want to do the couple of slides she has at the beginning?
Sure, I'm not sure what she had prepared, but I'm happy to. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right, everybody. Good evening again. And again, thank you. I know this is the end of everybody's long day with whatever that might be for you. But we appreciate your interest in learning a little bit more about Rachel Carson College. My name is Mari Ortiz McGuire. I am the interim director for college student life. So I oversee all of the non-academic aspects of your students' experience at college at Rachel Carson specifically. And we'll have more specifics about what my role is and what my student life team does with your students here at the college. So I am going to turn it over for staff intros so you know who the staff is here. I'm going to turn over to Stephanie. And then if you would tag the next staff member, please.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I am the College Programs Coordinator for Rachel Carson College, and I provide different programs and activities for your student or your students to attend and get to be involved with student life. And I will popcorn to Nathan.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone. It's so good to see all of you. A new year is always so exciting. My name is Nathan Taylor. I am a coordinator for residential education. That is a live-in staff member, so I'm a neighbor to many of your students that will be living on campus this next year. I supervise our student leaders that live on campus as well, so our resident assistants that live on campus that support our students that live in our residence halls and our apartments here in Rachel Carson. And I'm going to pass it over to Diana.
Hi, everyone. Diana here. My pronouns are she, her, ella. I'm an academic advisor here for Rachel Carson College. And I will be supporting basically as an academic guidance for your students. And I'll pass it over to Monica.
Hi, everyone. My name is Monica Baker. I use she, her pronouns. I am a cross-college academic advisor, so I advise students all over UCSC. I'm currently stationed advising students at Rachel Carson and Oaks Colleges for the fall quarter. Thanks.
And we're going to popcorn to Shraddha and move on to the next slide, please, Stephanie.
Hi everyone, my name is Shraddha. I'm the college academic manager for Rachel Carson College. I support the provost office and I just serve as a bridge between students and faculty who teach the Rachel Carson core courses here and as well as the Rachel Carson enhancement courses. Something unique about the college is that it does offer a sustainability minor, so I do also serve as an advisor for the minor.
Awesome. Would you like to, the first slide, I don't know if you can see what you're seeing, Shraddha, but we have the academic team on the slide.
I can introduce the academic team if you would like.
That would be great. Thanks, Diana.
Yeah, so like I said, I am Diana Saravia. So hello, everyone, first of all, and buenas tardes to those of you that speak Spanish. Like I said, I'm an academic advisor, and here, this is my team. As you can see, Danny Rodriguez, Hayden, Monica, and we are the academic advising team for Rachel Carson. Our team consists of several members. Like I said, Danny Rodriguez is our lead academic preceptor for Rachel Carson and Oaks colleges, so he does run both colleges. Um, and he could not be here today as he is spending time with his wife and his new little baby boy, so as he recently became a father not that long ago. But to provide a little bit about his role, he is academic preceptor, like I said, both colleges. He does go over curriculum and advising staff, so he does supervise all of that. And then there's Monica, Hayden, and I, and we made the rest of the academic advising team. Like I said, we are responsible for guiding students through their college journey, ensuring they have the necessary knowledge and resources to navigate our system, fulfill general education requirements, and at the end of the day, graduate. But there are other advisors, such as major advisors, EOP advisors, that can help you in your student success. And I
Diana,
pass it.
did you want me to take it over? Or did you have information about this?
I do not have information on me.
Okay.
I would love it.
Just some general information about the provost. Shelley Grabe is our provost here at Rachel Carson College. She just recently started. Just some general knowledge about the provost. They preside over and coordinate college academic programs, including core courses. Our main core course, which all our incoming frosh will have to take, which is Environment and Society. They also handle academic integrity cases that come our way. Our office also raises funds for and serves as a public face for the college. And within Rachel Carson, we do direct the sustainability studies minor is under our direction.
Yes. I think, is that us?
Yes,
Yes.
Diana,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, so I do have something in Spanish and in English. I'm not gonna be able to say it in Spanish. No lo voy a poder decir en español porque vamos a tomar mucho tiempo. I'm not gonna say it all in Spanish just because it's gonna take a little bit of time, but I am gonna put it on the chat. It's just a little script that we did regarding what we're gonna be presenting today. So like I said, today we're just gonna discuss several crucial aspects of academic advising at UCSC. Firstly, I'm gonna share something on the chat, which is our website, just so you guys can see our advising page. And here at UCS at RCC, we always prioritize ensuring students have access to advisors and information as well. And this website basically contains frequently asked questions, community college profiles, advisor availability, along with other resources that have been created for students. So feel free to explore that website. As I mentioned earlier, our primary role is to assist students with major exploration, referral, planning. Many of our students have proposed a major, meaning that it's intended in their area of study. However, most majors have qualification criteria such as GPA and specific courses and coursework completion. We also help students navigate these requirements and plan according to declare. However, we do recommend that they might meet with their major advisors to have more detailed plans and questions that our major advisor can answer. As you guys can also hear, we do have academic classes such as Carson 1, Carson 10, Carson 15, experiential learning, and undergraduate research projects. So there is different options that this college offers. Carson 1 is a mandatory course that every single one of your students will take, especially if they are frosh students. Carson 10 is a class that is recommended, especially for those students that might be struggling a little bit or just struggling with that transition. And then Carson 15 are for students that are in STEM, and it just basically helps them kind of like get a little acquainted with the STEM programs that we have here. There are social and supporting environments such as peer programs, work for fun, internships, and of course, college advising. Next slide. Like I was mentioning, the college does go over certain areas such as major exploration referrals, planning for major qualifications, and declarations. So we help them basically get to the point of declaration. Once they declare, we do recommend they speak with your major advisors. And the reason for that is because you need an expert on that, and we can't memorize every single major that we have. So it's just, we're kind of like experts for a little bit, and then they can get like real detailed with their major advisors. We also go over their general education requirements and other UC graduation requirements. So this would be, for example, the 180 units limit, GPA requirements, pass no pass requirements, senior residency, and other petitions as well. So petitions include, for example, if they want to withdraw, if they need help with leave of absence, withdrawing from the university, withdrawing from a quarter, and so on. Like I said, we are here to help students and academic support as much as we can. And college advising is a very first place. So if a student doesn't know where to go, they can come and talk to us and we can guide them to the direction. We're kind of like guide tours, like tourists, just telling them where to go, right? So even if we don't know it, we're happy to direct them. And pretty much, like I said, there are other advisors to get support, major financial aid, EOP, and other more. So I would recommend you guys just check out all the sites that we have. Additionally, I do want to point out that we do have something called FERPA, and this might not be pretty for most parents, but FERPA is an important thing as we can no longer communicate directly to you about your student, right? We can give you general things, kind of like this presentation, where there's no specific details on your student, but we cannot discuss their grades or anything like that's very specific because they are now technical adults. So that's something. And if your student has any questions, they can reach out to us directly using their UCSC email. So with that, we also want to just kind of let you guys know to activate their UCSC email, as it is very important for most university communications. And I'll pass it over to Monica.
Thanks, Diana. Yeah, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the 10-week quarter timeline. So a quarter system is definitely different than a semester system, and it can be a challenge sometimes for students because it does go very fast, but it is a learning opportunity. One way that students can succeed and that you can help your students succeed is to really be aware of the key milestones and deadlines that come up throughout the quarter. So in this slide, I'll provide a little bit of a summary of what a typical quarter looks like. So during week 1, it is very important that students attend all their classes during week 1, especially those that are waitlisted on because they might not get off of the wait list. But all of their classes, it's very important that they attend the first class. They should start reading the assigned material as soon as possible. They will most likely get a syllabus from their instructor of what they should be reading. In week 2, it's crucial for students to verify their course enrollments to ensure accuracy. They should secure any necessary tutoring that's available. We have LSS. We'll put the link in the chat for that. And students should obtain permission codes for any classes they've been waitlisted for, as this is the final week for them to waitlist. So week 3 is the last chance that students can make any changes to their classes, to their schedule. At this point, they should be studying as midterms are coming up. For week 4 and 5, students will be getting midterms where they can assess their progress and they can ask for help if needed. Week 6 is the last chance to request a W grade. There are situations where a student might need to withdraw from a course, and they have academic options that they can take advantage of, like taking a W grade, which won't affect their GPA. In week 7, students will be getting their midterm scores. At this point, they should be really securing tutoring, especially if they find out that they're struggling or they might need tutoring. In week 8, students will be enrolling in winter 25 quarter, and their core advisors will hold a plenary to talk them through what winter enrollment would look like. During weeks 9 and 10, students focus on preparing for their final exams. In week 9, it's the last opportunity for students to modify their classes to pass, no pass. Generally, we advise students taking major courses not to do the pass, no pass option, but they could consider taking a class pass, no pass, which is a general education course. And it's important to be mindful that pass grades can only account for up to 25% of their overall grades. After 10 weeks, students will have finals week. It is crucial to stay informed about the schedule of final exams because they can vary. And they can access this information through various channels, their syllabus, Canvas, or the finals calendar. So yeah, by staying informed, students can effectively prepare, and it's just really important to be mindful of those milestones and deadlines. Thanks. I'll pass it back to Diana.
Like I said, some information we've shared with students, some of this already has been shared with students. We've told them that they have to enroll in a minimum of sometimes 3 classes, which is the minimum of 12 to 19 units, right? This can be very surprising to most of you because in high school, our students have 6 or even more classes to complete during the day, right? So 3 classes might seem very little. The other reason, and we do want to recognize this difference, is between high school and coming to a 4-year institution, it's basically the time that they're here. So normally it's 16 weeks, right? While here at UCSC, it's a 10 week. So it moves a lot faster, like Monica was describing. It moves really quickly, right? So like I said, things are faster paced. For the first time in fall quarter, your student might need to enroll into college requirement, which is the Carson one, or college one. You guys might have heard that on the orientation. There are different sections that they can enroll in, right? And it is a graduation requirement. So there is one time specifically, the 7 o'clock one, that is a set time that does not change, but the discussion time does change. So that's the one that they get to pick. Then there are 2 classes. They can either be a writing class, 2 major classes that they're exploring, 1 major class and a GE. They can mix and match however they would like, right? And then there is a study formula, basically a minimum of 2 hours per unit, which is 24 to 48 hours of studying time. So it's kind of like being a full-time student, right? It's a full-time job. So we want you guys to keep in mind of that also. One more thing is new students are also transitioning to a different environment. That's another reason we don't want them taking so many classes, because this might be the first time that they're living on their own, or maybe they're making new friends, the first time making new friends outside of their high school buddies. So we promise you the 3 classes academically will be enough as they transition to college. Now I'll pass it over to Monica and next slide.
Thanks. Yeah, we do want to just point out and normalize that up to 80% of students will change their major or go on a different major path during their time at college. This can be for various reasons. Sometimes the criteria to get into the major they wanted, they didn't pass that, or they took some other classes or found some new interests, decided to go a different path.
I mean,
Oh,
eggplant, yeah.
You want to remind everyone to mute yourself?
Well,
oh yeah, please mute if you can. So yeah, as parents, it is crucial to encourage your children to engage with resources. We have some great resources at the Career Center. There's a lot of different assessments they could take to figure out which major might interest or be the best fit for them. This exploration can help them make informed decisions about their studies and choose a major that aligns with their passions and aspirations. Ideally, though, by the 2nd year, we do want students to commit to a specific major and dedicate themselves to completing their chosen field of study. Thanks. I'll pass it back to Diana.
Yes. Another thing that we want you guys to know is basically, as you know, enrollment has happened already, and it's currently happening. So this is like the 2nd time they should be enrollment with an enrollment appointment, which opened on August 26th, which was 2 days ago. It is important to note that they might not be getting their first class selection, right? And that's completely okay. Many of the classes students need to enroll are offered at multiple times during the year. So this is a quarter system. In 10 weeks, basically the student will have different classes every single time. So they might move from, for example, Math 3 to Math 11A and so on within the first year. All classes all classes that they take go to contribute to their degree. So even if it's not a GE, they might be taking the class for units. And that tends to happen a lot when students come in with a lot of GE courses from high school or community college classes from AP scores and so on. So it would go towards their 180 requirement. The other classes would be a GE, and like I said, major, or some students might even consider a second major or minor. Next slide. Like I mentioned, on August 26th, enrollment was reopened, which allows students to make adjustments to their schedules, and they can still do that. They can drop classes, swap with open classes, add themselves to wait lists. This allows them to basically have a backup course while trying to get into their desired course. And every student takes and enhances their experiences at UCSC, right? Lastly, if you did not get an enrollment appointment or your student did not get an enrollment appointment, they need to reach out to the orientation team as soon as possible so they can provide you with next steps. Other than that, that's pretty much all for advising, and we'll be taking questions on the chat. So we'll be answering anything on the bottom. We'll pass it over to the next person.
Thank you, Diana and Monica. Yes, there's questions coming in, so thank you so much. As I said, my name is Mari Ortiz McGuire. I'm the interim director for college student life. What our team does is everything non-academic to support your students through their time at Rachel Carson, whether they're in housing or not. So along with me is our assistant director for residential education, Dr. Erica Little. She helps to supervise the coordinators for residential education, and the the CREs all and the ADRE, Dr. Little, all live at Rachel Carson College or Oaks College, our neighbor. So they are live-in staff, and they help support your students as they get to learn how to live together, right? We call it education because there's a lot of learning that happens outside of the classroom, whether that be how to have roommates. I don't know if any of your children were like mine. They never had to share a room until they went to college. How to share common bathrooms, how to work through conflict with someone that's not your sibling or your family member. Our staff are there to support you through that. Stephanie is our college programs coordinator, so she is putting the final touches on the Welcome Week activities, which she'll share more with you about later. And she's there through the entire experience up until she also helps coordinate commencement at the end of their 4 to 5 year time with us at UCSC. And of course, Adderley, who's not a slug, but that's a picture she chose to provide us. Adderley is our housing coordinator. So some of your students have already been communicating with her about the rooms and the type of room, and can I bring my iguana, and what kind of lamp can I have in the room for keeping my iguana warm, and all these great things. So Adderley is an integral part of our team as well. And now I'm going to hand it over to Nathan.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Maddie. So just a little bit of information about residential life here in Rachel Carson. We have also our mission that I'll read here from the slide as well. So our mission is to teach students the skills necessary for academic success and personal development, and challenge students to become actively engaged in environmental and social justice issues. So just as Mari shared, we do a lot of learning and educational opportunities outside of the classroom. I often say that our role is kind of to trick our students into educational opportunities. We do a lot of fun activities that then interwoven within those are really great learning opportunities for our students as well. And I just saw that question in the chat of how many students are in RCC. And in terms of students that are living in RCC, we have 454 first-year students. Just about all of those are living within our residence halls. So those are kind of the traditional common bathroom. Most of those are triples, so 3 students living within a room. Some doubles, some singles within those residence halls. We also have 401 continuing students that live within Rachel Carson, so those are sophomore and above, as well as some transfer students within that population as well. And a majority of those are living within our apartment buildings. So those are less of those like common bathroom in the middle dorms type style, and instead are more of a traditional apartment unit with their own bathroom, own kitchen sort of situation. And then also living with those folks, we have the 2 professional staff members that live within the community as well. We serve in an on-call crisis response rotation. So we are here 24 hours a day and serve to serve the students after hours in case any sort of an emergency pops up. So we're here to help students for those sorts of situations as well. And that's why we live on campus. And then we also have our 21 resident assistants that live within our halls and support students directly. And those are our student positions so that they really have an idea of what it's like to be a student at UC Santa Cruz, have a great idea of what it's like to navigate academics, navigate what it's like to be involved on campus, and can really provide that great direct support to their neighbors that are living within the halls with them. And we can go to the next slide. Some important dates to keep in mind about some breaks within this coming up quarter and going into winter quarter. So we just have one observed or one holiday as we go into the quarter where folks can, or a couple of holiday breaks that folks can stay within the residence halls on campus. And that's Veterans Day on November 11th. So those residence halls do not close and folks can stay on campus. So no need to plan for any travels or need to vacate the premises during that time. Similarly, with fall break, which is a Wednesday to Sunday, November 28th to December 1st, the residence halls are still open. So if your student isn't planning on traveling home during that time, our buildings are still going to be open and available for them to stay on campus. The dining hall specifically at Oaks and Rachel Carson College will close on Wednesday, but there will still be one dining hall on campus that will serve the limited population of students that will still be on campus. So if your student is still sticking around, there will be an opportunity to still use their meal plan and to still eat. They'll just have to utilize the public transit or do a little bit of stroll through the nature that we were talking about earlier to get to that dining hall. And then one thing to keep in mind is when winter break rolls around, so the end of finals week, Friday, December 13th, we enter winter break. And the last meal served is going to be dinner. And on Saturday, the 14th, the residence halls actually close. So we, during that time period of December 14th until that next bullet point of Friday, January 3rd, no residents are allowed within the residence halls or the apartments within Rachel Carson. So you should plan to have your student return back, or if you have a family vacation planned, you should anticipate and expect that you're not going to have access to that space during that 2 or 3 week period. There's actually a chunk of time within that time period that the university is completely closed, like no one's even working at the institution as well. So just keep in mind that, grabbing belongings, we send out lots of information about like making sure if you brought a mini fridge, like clearing out the mini fridge. We send out lots of information, have closing community meetings to make sure that your student is really well prepared, but just something for you all to keep in mind in this meeting as well to prepare for. Perfect. And then, of course, something to keep in mind because it's kind of wild to think that folks are coming to campus really soon. We have just a few weeks before move-in. And so if you're thinking about what you might want to bring to campus, these are some of those things to think about and consider. So we on campus have the extra long twins. So as you're buying bedding, don't buy a regular twin sheet. You'll want to make sure that it's the XL twin sheet. Otherwise, those other ones will not fit the bed when you come onto campus. So make sure you have those longer ones. Make sure you have towels, bathrobe, shower caddy, have some shower shoes like flip-flops. I'm a fan of Crocs, so if your student loves Crocs, grab Crocs. Any sort of like an emergency kit, so maybe like a little first aid kit, just something to have handy. Some face masks, hangers, a desk light. As someone who lives on campus, I'll say that the lighting is not the best lighting, so it's good to bring some additional lighting with you as well. That's something that's nice to have. And just keeping in mind too that having those fluorescent bulbs or the LED, not bringing the halogen bulbs as they're just a fire hazard for on campus, and we can't have those within the residence halls as you're picking those out. Definitely headphones or earplugs. Earplugs are a great thing to have, just knowing living within a residence hall sometimes can be a noisier environment. So something that can help with sleep or those different types of things that can always be helpful. Definitely laundry items. I saw a question about candles. Definitely not candles. So no bringing candles. Unfortunately, that's one of our policies that we have on campus as well. One of the few downsides to living in a forest. And then definitely bring a computer as well if your student has access to that. And we also have access to a a computer lab as well here in Rachel Carson. So if they don't have a personal computer or laptop, they do have access to those as well here on campus. Any personal school supplies, power strips, and just making sure that those are approved power strips as well. We get pretty rainy in the winter season, so bringing rain gear and an umbrella, lots of waterproof stuff, reusable water bottles, travel mugs, reusable bowls, and things like that so that you can utilize them within your residence hall. And then if you don't want to purchase a mini fridge, you can also rent out mini fridges and microwave combos through the link that's provided here. So instead of, going through and purchasing those items, if it's not something that you're like, this is something that we're gonna purchase and keep for the long run, if you want a more temporary solution, there is an opportunity here. And then just looking at the questions really quick so that I can help out with Mari and the team. You've got the water dispensers one. We've got water dispensers in each of the residence halls. Let me scroll up to the top real quick. Let me look at I saw the question about if they come home for fall break / Thanksgiving, then will there be classes on November 24th to the 27th? Let me just look at my calendar really quick to see where that is on there. Yes, so that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, there are classes officially. However, officially there's classes and the university is open. It is really common for professors to cancel classes, especially on that Wednesday. On the flip side, it's also pretty common for you to think that your professor is going to cancel classes and then they don't cancel classes, right? So I wouldn't bet on that being the case, but I think that professors are also pretty used to having a small class attendance on that Wednesday. I would just advise your student if they have a class that attendance is a part of their class participation or their grade, keeping in mind that if they're planning to travel that week, just kind of having that in mind if they're planning on missing any other days, kind of including that within their mental math as they're going throughout the quarter. Scrolling down. The mini rice cooker, Mari, I'm pretty sure is a yes, right?
Yeah,
Yes. Air fryer, I'm pretty sure is a no.
right.
Okay, perfect. Um,
There was a question about what is the lock for. I'm assuming this is for the computer lock that you're asking. It's just a increased safety measure. A lot of students will be in a lounge or take their laptop. I don't know if you're like my son, he takes his laptop when he's doing laundry. If they walk away from it, um, things can disappear. Most of the thefts on our campus are what we call thefts of opportunity. They leave their first floor room window open. They walk away from their laptop when they're at the library, or like I said, in the laundry room. So it's just for security purposes for themselves.
okay.
Winter break is, the quarter ends December 13th and winter quarter starts January 3rd. So I haven't done the count there. But it can be between 2 and 3 weeks.
Yeah. And that question about posters, they can put up posters. They just need to be with the approved mounting material, which I'm pretty sure is the Command brand specifically of strips like to utilize. So just make sure that you're getting the correct kind. Our buildings are not concrete, they're wood on the inside. So that's the material that you would be putting them on.
And yes, the presentation will be available. Are we recording, Stephanie? Yes, we're recording. And so will be available on our website.
And then we can't bring bikes inside the building. Our building, the way that they're laid out, essentially if a bike was inside the building, it would be a fire hazard in proximity to the stairwells. We do have a lot of bike sheds and storages that are outside of our buildings, but we can't have bike storage within the residence halls. So definitely investing in not the bike locks that are flexible, but some of the rigid bike locks is definitely an investment that I would recommend if your student is bringing a bike onto campus. And if they're not bringing a bike onto campus, we do have the B-Cycle program as well, which is a $19 per year program for students. And they're electric bikes that there's docks like all over campus. $19 per year, unlimited 30-minute rides that your student has access to. And they use an app, undock a bike, ride from one dock to the next, undock the bike, that sort of a thing. Mhm.
All right.
And the bike sheds, I would say for the most part, yes, but definitely folks definitely prioritize wanting to put their bike in the shed, so that space is pretty limited. So I definitely wouldn't count on always being able to put the bike in that more protected space. Alrighty, we can go to the next slide, Stephanie. So while we have a lot of spaces within Oaks and Rachel Carson that may just be like general living areas, we also have specific residence hall themes within our community that focus either on identities or areas of interest. So we have our LGBTQIA plus community. We have our women in science and engineering. We have the ABC, which is our African, Black, and Caribbean living community, and it is also our transfer student living community, and that is within our apartments. And then we also have the Rachel Carson Eco House. So your student maybe has talked to you about living in one of these themed communities specifically, or if they haven't, maybe this is also a potential opportunity that they'll be seeking in the future. But for these specific communities, they'll have programming and opportunities and an RA as well that is trained specifically around providing programming opportunities around these identities and around these themes. So those are some opportunities that your students may be able to take advantage with as well. But those are my slides, and I'm going to pass it over to Mari.
Awesome. Thank you, Nathan. Yes, there's lots of questions. Your students have been receiving a lot of information, and as a parent myself, I like to share with parents as I do some of these welcomes that it's time for us to learn to partner with our students. Everything from pre-K to high school, as parents, we're told you need to be involved, you need to have access, you need to check their grades, their attendance. And as Diana shared with us earlier, due to FERPA, once they are enrolled and admitted at UCSC, parents no longer have direct access to any of this information. There was a question in the chat about how do I get a login to pay my students' bills, and actually your student has to give you payer access. So even to pay their bills, the student has to give you access to do that. So some of the information we're sharing with you is information they've already received in some way, shape, or form. Whether they're communicating that with you is a different story. So, we hope that this will give you points to ask questions of them and to partner with them. So along with that, we like to share some of our campus safety features. I know that at least with my children, safety wasn't necessarily a big concern or a thought that they had every time they walked out the door, as it was with me. But one of our biggest features is the card key system. So our buildings are locked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your student's ID card is essentially their key to get in the building and to get in their room. Here's where I'm going to talk about one of the partnering opportunities. Students should have already submitted their picture for their ID card. If they haven't, which as of last week, there were hundreds of students who had not, the last deadline to do so is this coming Sunday, September 1st. If they don't submit their ID card picture, they won't have their ID card at move-in. We'll give them all kinds of temporary access things. But it will be really important if you could ask them, prompt them, hey, did you submit your ID card picture? Sunday is the deadline. But our buildings being locked is a safety feature because only if you live there should you be entering the building. If you're going to visit someone, you should let them know, hey, I'm downstairs, come let me in. This gives us a little bit more feeling of comfort to know who is in and who shouldn't be in the building, right? Along with that is our staff. As Nathan was talking about, our live on staff, the RAs and the CREs, they are on call. One of them is on call every single night of the academic year. So our numbers are posted. The RA on call number is posted on several bulletin boards throughout the building. Most of their calls throughout the nights are about people being locked out. So not a big deal. But if they are locked out, or there's someone being too noisy outside of the quiet hour period, or there's someone in the building that seems suspicious, they can always call one of our on-call staff. Another huge partner with us in that is the Residential Community Service Program. These are full-time staff members that work 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. They actually help me sleep better at night because I know that someone is awake and alert and available in case of any emergency for our students within our community. We also have a police department. It's a UCPD, so they're a campus police department on our campus, and there is a fire station physically located on our campus. So if there ever is a need for fire or police, they would be the first to respond. So that also, and they know the layout of our campus better, right? Because as you will visit, or if you've already visited, for anyone who isn't very knowledgeable about our campus, it can be a little confusing, especially at night when emergencies do happen. So it again gives me some comfort that it's our local police and fire departments that are available for those late night emergencies. Of course, we have our Student Health Center, another partnering plug and opportunity. Students should have either signed up for UC SHIP, which is the university provided insurance, or if they will stay on parents or someone's insurance, they need to have completed their waiver. The deadline for the waiver is September 16th. And it's really important if you don't want them to sign up for that insurance, because it'll show up on your bill to do this waiver. I was mentioning I have a fourth year student and I still had to remind him several times this year to complete that waiver. And the last feature that we share as a safety feature is our counseling and psychological services. This is a huge transition for your students, leaving whatever home environment they have been in, and leaving their bedroom, their pillow, their siblings, their best friends, and it can cause some anxiety and some stress. And so counseling and psychological services is a great neutral resource, right? Sometimes they don't want to tell a parent or a sibling. You ask them how it's going, and they're like, fine. Even if they're not, right? They don't want to stress you out. Counseling is a great resource for that. And it's part of their registration fees. So take full advantage of that. We also have a newer option, which is our mobile crisis team. This is mirrored off a program that started in Seattle, the Cahoots program, where we have an actual van that is available in the evenings for anybody to access, for our staff to call in. If a student is having some type of mental health crisis and we're not sure what type of support they need, the mobile crisis response team will come to us directly where the student is and help us evaluate what the needs for the student are. Next slide, please. Other, again, partnering opportunities with your students, right? They should have carry emergency contact information with them, whether that be in their phone. We don't tell them who that should be, but they should have that information available. Students should also, try to memorize a phone number. A lot of us don't know each other's phone numbers anymore. Everything's in our cell phone. So when an emergency, true emergency does occur, and they might not have access to their phone, it's good that they at least have memorized some emergency contact information. Be familiar with your campus and resources. We will be conducting evacuation drills within the first 2 weeks of the quarter. This is a law that we need to do, but this is to help students understand their surroundings, right? So if those fire alarms were to go off in the middle of the night and they're leaving their room, do they go left? Do they go right? Where's the closest staircase? This is information they need to be aware of and participate in our drills, but also be aware of the campus, right? Where the best lit walking paths are, if they're going to have evening classes, where the shuttle stops are. So pay attention to when we're doing Welcome Week will include tours, and Stephanie's crew of orientation welcome leaders will provide tours. So, participate in that. And again, just a slight reminder, but also fire safety. We are a smoke and tobacco-free campus, so there is no smoking allowed in our buildings or in the surrounding areas. We're in a wooded area, and so, just sneaking off behind the redwoods to smoke is not the best idea. So again, another safety reminder for you and your students. And there was a question earlier about mail, so I'm going to add this here. It's not a safety feature, but just as one of my last plugs, this is the address, just like it's on the slide, that your students should use for any mail or packages, Amazon, whoever. Mail does not get delivered to their rooms. So, this is going to be a little shock to the system if you have students like mine that expect Amazon deliveries at any time of the day outside their front door. It's not quite that anymore. All mail, all packages gets delivered to our college office or mailroom. If it is a package, it will be scanned into our system. And that's why using the name that they're registered under is very critical. That it's not a nickname, it's not a shortened name, but it is the name that you put on the package is the name that they are registered as a student with. And then Rachel Carson College, the little hashtags there, or the pound signs, whatever you remember it as, they will receive that number because it's a box number on move-in day. They will get a little card with their ID card. So if you want to make sure you have access to that, take a little snapshot of that card that they will receive on move-in day so that you know how to address mail to them. We have specific mailroom hours. So as I was saying, it's not all hours of the night. And they're not going to get packages as they did maybe at home. So keep that in mind as you're ordering things. That we actually have open hours for mailrooms. It's not 24 hours a day available. And I think I just saw Shelly join us here. I don't know, Shelly, if you've been here, but do you want to take a little time to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Mari. I want to apologize to you all. My intention was to be here at the start of our meeting, and I had a small family emergency. So my apologies for jumping in partway through this call. I'm going to introduce myself as the provost of Rachel Carson College and share a little bit about what a provost for the colleges does. And say to you that I've been at UCSC for 16 years, but I've been involved in the colleges for a couple of years. And my reason for joining that is because the college system at UCSC is so unique that unlike many other major universities, your students will come into a college affiliation. And in doing that, they not only create a cohort and are in dormitories and courses with other students, but they're also taking some of their intro classes with a cohort sharing a theme. And so it's meant to build community for incoming students as they're getting into the familiarity of the larger university setting. So a provost oversees the academic part of that experience and goes over the curriculum, the syllabi, supervises the instructors and the faculty that your students will work with. So my role is largely to oversee their initial academic experience before they declare a major and start to affiliate in departments that go beyond their college experience.
Thanks so much, Shelley. All right, we can move on to the next slide, Stephanie, and you're on.
Perfect. So yeah, I will be talking about my role at the college. I am the college programs coordinator for Rachel Carson College. So my office with my students, we provide a lot of social, educational, cultural, different activities and programs for your student to attend. And so I have a team of program assistants that help me plan programs for the college. And then during Welcome Week, I also have orientation welcome leaders. And so those students specifically help me with Welcome Week events that we have planned, and then some events throughout just fall quarter. But we are in the midst of planning Welcome Week for your students. And then these pictures and little blurbs are just past activities that my office has held. So each year in April, being that our college is environment and society themed, we plan Earth Week for the college. And so I have a specific student intern that plans that whole week. Instead of just dedicating a day, we dedicate a full week to sustainability and educating students more about Earth Week in general. So that bottom picture to your left is an event we did a couple years ago that was a plant and bake that we did on campus to learn about better ways to plant different vegetables and stuff like that. And then we have different large scale programs throughout the year that students can attend. So a few years ago, we did a Spring Pride Gala with, we partnered with our neighboring college, Oaks College, and we put on a fun dance for students to attend. And then this little flyer here is just a past Welcome Week flyer. Your student will be getting emails from me in the next coming weeks with the accurate Welcome Week events for this year, but this is just an example of what to expect on social media and then their emails that they will be getting. But we do hold events each day during Welcome Week that your student can attend. There is also some events that are required for your student to attend, such as advising sessions, so students can really get more in-depth information about advising. And then we also offer a little session with the provost as well to get more information on the core course that they have to attend. But again, all that information will be emailed to students so that they can really see what they need to attend and then what is optional. So Welcome Week this year is September 20th through the 25th, and then fall quarter begins on September 26th. And then this slide just shows ways your student can get involved. So each college has a student government that oversees different funding initiatives, ways to get involved, ways to use your voice and be a voice for the students at that specific college. So at Rachel Carson, we have the Rachel Carson College Council, and they are students who are really interested in supporting the college and making it a better and safer place to be a part of. So a lot of the initiatives that we have done in the past is putting up murals and making the space more inclusive and inviting to students. And so I act as their advisor and I attend weekly meetings going over their budget and different policies in place. But if your student was involved in any type of student government in high school or in community college, this would be a good opportunity where you can really get involved. So we meet Monday nights at 9 p.m. And again, this information will be sent out to students via email as well. And then, like I mentioned on the last slide, I do have an Earth Week team that helps plan the events for that week in April. And so I usually hire some student interns to get experience. So if your student is really interested in environment work and sustainability, or their major correlates with that, this would be a really good opportunity to get more in on hands experience. And then that last picture to your right is our orientation welcome leaders from last year. And so these students are with me through fall quarter planning welcome week. And then I have a set of program assistants who stay with me for the duration of the whole academic year. And we're putting on programs for your student to attend and ways to get involved. So if you're interested in wanting to get more experience planning events, or being a part of the student body, this would also be a good opportunity for you to apply. And we have different applications going out in spring quarter. And then lastly, just to stay connected, if you or your student have any questions, feel free to email Carson Student Life at UCSC. Our website is right there. We do have a Facebook page, but it's not updated. We learned that our students are utilizing Instagram, so that is where we post a lot of stuff. So if you don't already, I would follow that. There's a lot of good information that we put out, and that's where the majority of students will be getting their information from. We do have a link tree with different forms and ways to get involved, quick links to look at. So that's another opportunity. And then we send out quarterly newsletters to you if you are interested in subscribing to that. So that was in the email that you all received to even attend this family orientation. So if you haven't done so already, I highly recommend subscribing to that. It's a good opportunity to see upcoming deadlines that are within the UC College as a whole, and then also advising different programming updates, campus closures, things like that. And that concludes our family orientation. This whole presentation, as well as the dialogue that we've presented over, will be uploaded onto our website. And I can send out an email locating where that specifically is on our website, but that'll be uploaded probably by the end of the week. But I'm going to stop sharing so that we can answer any remaining questions.
Yes. Thank you all. Thank you so much. I know that Nathan and Diana have been busy answering lots of questions in the chat, and we can continue to do that. Also, Nathan, Diana, if you see a question that's been asked several times, maybe read it out loud and answer. If somebody wants to unmute and ask a question, that would be great too. We'd love to hear it directly from you. So yeah, anything coming up? Are dorm rooms cleaned or sanitized? So they will be cleaned before your students moved in. Our campus isn't empty over the summer. We have tons of conferences that use our spaces, Nike volleyball, Nike, cheerleading. So our custodial crew is busy right now because conference season just ended, going into all the rooms, and they will be cleaned before your students arrive. Should we bring a fan? Yeah, Nathan says yes. There is no air conditioning. I know that for those of you that live in hot areas of the country, the world, that seems shocking. But we we don't have air conditioning in any of our administrative buildings or our residential hall buildings. Thankfully, that ocean breeze, the fog, does eventually roll in and cool us off. But there are some warm days, and when everybody's in the triple with all of their stuff, the rooms can get warm. So if your student is one that needs to be cool all the time, definitely bring a fan. Nathan, do you know how much it costs to do laundry? Because you do laundry on campus.
Oof, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It's my partner's chore, so my partner's usually the one that pays for it. I'm pretty sure it's $1.25. to wash, and then I think it's 75 cents to dry. Does
Okay.
that sound right?
I don't
Yes,
know.
that
Okay.
is right.
Okay. Perfect.
So there was a quick question about move-in. So let me do just sort of like a quick synopsis of move-in day. Your students all should have received an email last week, August 20th or the 21st, if they're living in university housing. That email included lots of information, but the biggest point was that they could now access their housing portal to see the room type that they received and also access to roommate information if it was allowed by the roommates. We encouraged them to communicate with their roommates to discuss a lot of the questions that were asked today. If any of you have seen the virtual tours, these triples and quads aren't huge spaces. So we would not recommend 3 microfridges and 3 microwaves and 3 of everything. So we really do encourage students to talk to each other before that. The other piece of important information in that email was that they needed to schedule a move-in time. Our standard move-in for our incoming first-year students is either Thursday, September 19th or Friday, September 20th. There were some questions for early move-ins. If a student qualifies, there's reasons for why they would qualify. Some students have jobs on campus already and have to come into training. There are different dates, but the standard move-in dates for Rachel Carson, sorry, I do both colleges. Rachel Carson, new students, freshmen, is Thursday or Friday, the 19th and 20th. They were prompted to schedule an appointment time. The appointments run from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And in that email, also they were directed. So when you come to campus, if you've come to our campus, there's only 2 entrances, the main entrance to campus and the west entrance. Our college is closest to the west entrance to campus, so that is where you'll be directed. You will enter through the west entrance and go into lot 127, lot 127, also known as the West Remote Parking Lot. There you will find our tents, our staff, our welcome signs. Your student will join a line. They should have some form of identification, driver's license, California ID, another state ID, their high school ID, to check in with us. And this is where they will either pick up their ID card because they have all submitted their ID card pictures, or their temporary cards. We will then direct you to the closest unloading zone for your specific building, and you will also receive a temporary unloading parking pass. All of that will happen out of lot 127. You will be redirected to a close unloading zone where you will see more of our orientation welcome leaders, our RAs, everybody working on that day to help you figure out the next steps from there. After you've unloaded your car, we ask everyone to move their car to a more permanent parking spot. Or if you're done for the day, you say your goodbyes and your student stays with us starting then. And they will have activities starting that first night that they're there, whether that's the 19th or the 20th.
I do want to share my screen really quick and just show you where you can find this presentation so that it's easily typed into your screen. So so you'll just go to the rachelcarson.ucsc.edu webpage. You'll want to click on activities page here. And then you'll want to scroll to Family Day. And so this has not only Family Day that we did in February for your student, this was last year, but if you scroll down, this is where the presentation was from last year. So after I get the recording for this new presentation, I will upload it. And then I also have the chat as well that can be downloaded as well. So again, this is from last year, but I will do the same thing and upload it again for you all by the end of this week.
So another question I just saw, how many cars can we bring? Again, this was something included in your student's email. We ask that you bring one vehicle. You will only get one unloading pass. the space is tight. We're parking on service and fire lanes to get you to unload. So, more than one vehicle, you'll have to take one and then, come get the other. Also, if you can avoid it, don't bring U-Hauls or U-Haul trailers. Again, these rooms are small. You don't need to bring everything. Hopefully they'll be coming back for fall break, Thanksgiving, and if they miss things, they can bring them back then or in winter break. So, minimize. If they're in triple rooms, some of them will have wardrobes, which are not that big. So, if your student has a large wardrobe, at home, they will not have that in their triple room. So definitely minimize as you're packing. Another reminder is that our buildings are up to 3 stories. We don't have more than that, and we have no elevators. There's no elevators. So if your student has a 100, they're on the first floor, a 200 room, second floor, 300 room, they're on the third floor. So you, your family, your crew that you're bringing with you will have to be carrying everything you've packed up to the second or third floor. So think about that also as you pack. Let's see. Oh no, we don't have ice machines in the buildings, unfortunately. Is there a more accessible way to get to the third floor? Unfortunately, there is not. If your student has an accommodation need, hopefully they've already disclosed that and shared that with our housing coordinator staff so that we could have given them the proper type of accommodation. But there isn't. All of our entrances are on the first floor, and then you have to go up a flight of stairs to get to the second and to the third floors. All righty. Is the dining hall in service? Yes, last year, what year is it? Fall of 23, we opened our brand new dining hall. It was down and being completely rebuilt for 2 years. And so we were super excited, fall of 23, to be able to use our brand new dining hall. It's beautiful. It's got great views. We encourage you to have a meal there while you are there, but it will be open starting earlier than the 19th because we do have quite a few early arrival groups. So I think it opens maybe on the 13th, a little earlier than that.
Would you by any chance know when Parents Weekend starts and ends?
Parents Weekend will be Family Day, November 1st through the 3rd. I saw a question earlier of like the time frames. I think the itinerary for the weekend is still being built, so I can't tell you a specific time frame. Diana, Nathan, any other questions that you've seen that we want to?
I think the one that's been common is the how does parking work. So for Frosh, for example, if I'm still corrected, they do not get parking,
That's correct.
only for juniors and seniors. If there's a reason they need parking, they have to check in with TAPS and they will let you know what yes we need.
Yeah. And TAPS is the website is taps.ucsd.edu. It's our Transportation and Parking Services office. Right. Any other lingering questions? Anything else you want to add, Shelley? I know you didn't have much of an opportunity to share.
Yeah, thank you, Mari. One of the things I wanted to say is that most of my experience at UCSC was teaching in upper division courses, so juniors and seniors and not entry level students. But one of the things to me that's very salient in terms of their success once they hit it at juniors and seniors is whether or not they have a sense of belonging. And so as they're moving out, one of the main concerns are things like housing and refrigerators and microwaves and laundry and all that. But your students, when they get here, are going to be thinking like, am I meant to be here? And even if they've got a refrigerator or microwave or all of that. So one of the things that I would encourage you to have conversations with them about is how they find their way not just academically, but when they land here, how do they think about meeting people? So extracurricular activities in that way matter initially as much as the academic stuff. And that's part of what we're trying to do in the college is balance a living and learning environment. And so if they're feeling totally isolated and they're like, I don't have anything in common here with anybody, the one thing we know for sure they have in common is their college affiliation and the core course they're taking. And that is by design. Every student has to take that core course. So they have something in common with another student. They have something that they could talk with them about. If you have a student with a minoritized identity, we also have resource centers, ethnic resource centers, disability resource center. So they could find a group that's putting on a program or event. There are a lot of extracurricular activities on campus. And so I would encourage them to find something to plug into, to attend, even if they're like, I don't have anybody to go with. Have them go anyway to one of those events where they're suspecting they might meet somebody they've got something in common with, because that's going to be the thing for them that makes them feel like they have a sense of belonging and that they want to be here to learn.
Yes, thank you, Shelley. I can't remember if in this presentation we mentioned the first 6 weeks, but there is research out there that says that finding that sense of belonging, finding that support system, finding that place where you fit in those first 6 weeks is a huge indicator of success for college students. And so I'm assuming some of you are going to get stuck on college TikTok, which I'm on right now, and students are posting about like, I want to go home. I'm so sad. I'm so lonely. I don't know anybody. If you undoubtedly get that call, right? Ask them the question. Did you go to that event? Who are you going to the dining hall with? Who's your RA, right? Because they will have an RA. So that's at least one person that they should know and talk to. And if not, like go knock on your RA's door, encourage them that it's going to be okay. And it's normal to feel lonely and sad originally. And there's so many resources. Our students, the loans are paying for more than our students just being in class, right? They're paying for this full educational experience from the dorms to all those resources that Shelley was just talking about. I think, Stephanie, you talked about cornucopia. I'm not sure, but cornucopia is an event that happens during Welcome Week on our big East Field huge lawn area on our campus with hundreds and hundreds of campus resources tabling. Dinner will be, they'll have meals available to them, and they can just walk from table to table and find out what's available to them on campus. We also will have what's called the Boardwalk Frolic during Welcome Week. So as some of you might know, the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk is a huge attraction here. And so for one of the days during Welcome Week, it is closed to UCSC students only. Last year, we had over 7,000 UCSC affiliates at the Boardwalk Frolic. And so we partner with shuttles and buses, and we shuttle them all down there. And they have the boardwalk open to them. They can buy a ticket to attend this event, and then we shuttle them all back. So participating in those things during Welcome Week is crucial. So I know some parents have asked, can we just drop their stuff off and then go back home because we live in the Bay Area? We strongly encourage you to have them stay, right? Stay on campus, even if classes don't start for a week, because all these huge events for them to get involved and find a place for themselves happen during that week before classes start.
The other thing is also for them, it's time for them to like go explore where their classes are at. The campus big. So this happened to me as a student. I went to school here too, where you went to class and you went a completely different direction, right? So it's best to just go explore, see where your classes are, how long does it take you. While we do have shuttles and buses to take you to different parts of campus, sometimes they can get really full. So it is recommended to just walk a little. And it's good for health, right? Good for anxiety, mental health, for your body in general. So, just go and explore, meet new people. Even making studying groups on the first day, I accidentally went to my math class that wasn't open and I made study group, right? Because of that error. So there are ways that your student can get involved with other folk.
Yeah. Thanks, Diana. All right. Any last lingering questions or tips from our team here, our staff team? All right.
I would encourage you all just to have your student check their UCSC email. There's a lot of information that's going to be coming up in the next few weeks. That's how my office communicates with students. That's how housing communicates with students. So that's really important for them to check periodically, especially during Welcome Week. There's a lot of ways to get involved and meet new people, meet their friends. So really encourage them to check that. It might get tiresome at some points to check your email, but it is purposeful and it does help them get involved and meet people.
Yeah. And it is how we do business. We're not, I mean, we're starting to at least prompt them via text for certain things, but it's not the best. Texting is not the best way to share information sometimes. So I know email is not a thing for them, but it's how we do business. All right. Well, we're excited. Welcome to the Rachel Carson family. We will see you in September with all of your cars packed full of stuff, and we will be ready to greet you and help you make that day as smooth as possible. So again, thank you for being with us this evening. Thank you to Shelley, Shraddha, Monica, Diana, Nathan, and Stephanie as well. We appreciate you. See you soon.